Alright YouTube, I know it's been a long time since I've made a video. You know, I'm going to give you the same excuses as everybody else. I've been busy and this and that. But I have a project going tonight. Something I've been working on for a while. These magic iTube VU meters. You can get buy these things on eBay from this guy in Taiwan relatively inexpensively. Kind of neat in that you can you know, sort of add this to an existing product inexpensively, and they don't take up much power, and the boards are pretty small. So I had some spare parts laying around and decided to try my hand at them. Of course, I'm not one to leave much alone, and so I decided to design my own circuit and have this guy who sells these things in Taiwan make me a board to my own specification. So this was probably about a month ago that I did that, and they finally came. It took forever to get shipped over from Taiwan, and one of them works just fantastic. You can see, pretty slick. The other one is dead though, and for the life of me I can't figure out why. There's all the components on the board seem to test out okay. I've replaced the transistor. One thing that I ordered them as bare boards, and I was going to spec all the components myself and use like high-end stuff. I guess he was trying to be nice when he built them with sort of these dodgy Taiwanese resistors and no-name capacitors and all sorts of other things. So I think that's probably at the root cause of one channel being dead here. You know, as we get a little bit of movement, but nothing like the other channel. Now, one thing that that I noticed when I sort of was figuring out which tube I was going to use is these EM82 Russian tubes take like a negative 20 volts DC across the I want to say one of the cathodes, and the more negative it is, the more it registers on the graph. So I'm thinking something in the drive circuit that takes the audio signal and converts it into a negative voltage is not working right. So I've went ahead and replaced the I think it was a 9006 or something like that, little tiny transistor. I replaced it with a 3-amp 13003, I want to say, 3-amp powered transistor that I just happened to have laying around, and that didn't do it. So I think it's, you know, maybe the bias is set wrong, or there's an open-end resistor or anything. I'm not entirely sure at this point. So I'm going to round up the tools and pull it apart and just sort of see what I can find. I will report back when I know something. Alright YouTube, so I went on a sort of a technically incorrect and lengthy explanation as to what my diagnosis led to, and to make a long story short, it came down to, I think, the trimmer pot. There's a trimmer pot on here that varies the resistance to ground to the input signal, which goes into coupling capacitors and sort of does some other things, and goes into the power transistor and becomes a negative voltage that drives the grid of the tube. Anyway, so I think the pot itself is defective, so I just went ahead and threw in a 22 k ohm resistor I sort of had laying around, just in the interest of science, to see if I can get some negative drive across the grid. So I'm going to go ahead and throw in the tube, power it up, and see what happens. Alright, so I guess my hypothesis was correct. I do have grid drive on this tube a little tiny bit, which is more than I had before. So it must have been that trim pot, so I'll have to go ahead and source another one locally so I can replace it. Well, you can see, so I'll leave that there. And I've turned the drive way down on this tube just to kind of compare it to the other one, which is cursed with a fixed resistance now. So I guess it's fairly safe to say that that's the problem. If I was sort of reckless, I suppose I could short that out between directly across the terminals, but I don't want to do that. So anyway, that is sort of long and short of my diagnosis. I don't know if this is going to be useful to anybody, but I hope it is. But if it's not, well, at least you killed 5 minutes. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Alright, YouTube, I've been messing with this project sort of off and on for, I don't know, a couple hours, and just sort of poking around with my multimeter trying to figure out what the problem is. And I think I found it. It's not the trim pot. It is, this diode was installed backwards in Taiwan. If you look at, you can't see it, but anyway, the little line on the circuit board that tells you where the diode stripe should, what side that should relate to, it's backwards. So I've got to desolder that. Of course, Rat Shack didn't have a 200K pot, so I had to put a 100K pot in there. But other than that, everything else in the circuit does indeed work okay. So I guess I'm not as smart as I thought I was. So anyway, we'll see how this goes after I desolder that. Alright, so I just thought I'd take a minute and sort of go over my tube setup here. Started off with, this is a Triode Electronics Dynaco ST70 chassis with some with their driver board and some other modifications, one being a 6N6P Russian military radar tube for a phase splitter, and some old ex-Soviet EF806GS preamp tubes, and some 6CA7 ribbed plates for the power tubes. And it's got the uprated power transformer and uprated output transformers, and those are wound for 4, 8, and 16 ohm. Next, it's kind of dark, I know, but it's a Dynaco PAS-3 preamp that's got Van Alstyne circuitry in it. It was completely gutted and replaced. The only thing that's original is the power indicator, and the power cord. Everything else is new. Underneath it, it's not hooked up right now, but it's my HD radio tuner. And this is what I was messing with earlier, my homebrew VU meter with old Russian military meter tubes. So it's kind of hard to see in the dark, but you can see kind of this needs to be calibrated properly left to right, but basically this is, it works now. I had to do some repairs to it to get it to go exactly how I wanted it to, but it worked pretty well. So I designed the power supply, built that, and had these boards, designed the circuit, and had the boards made. So overall pretty happy with the way everything turned out. Just need to get some better speakers now, and I'll be able to, the cops called on me or something for noise. So anyway, just thought I'd like show you guys on YouTube that it actually all works. It works pretty well. Thanks for watching.